Hi, I'm CJ and this is my RC channel. In this video, I'm going to be doing a little add-on, not really a modification, just an improvement to the WLToys 104001 1/10 scale all-wheel drive buggy. The car comes able to have anti-sway bars or roll bars added on. They go right behind this little panel here that is held on by these two screws. These two holes are for grub screws that will adjust the tension on them. I will show you how that works. The things you will need to add sway bars to this kit are the following. Number one, you need the sway bars themselves. This is a set of sway bars by LC Racing. I got these at RC Mart. I'll put a link in the description below. They're $4 for the set. I actually bought two because there's a possibility that at some point you might run like a 1.4 and a 1.4, and these are singles, so you don't have the ability to run two of the same weight to get that right balance you're looking for. Doesn't happen a lot. Usually you're either going a little heavier in the front than the rear or vice versa, but that also depends on springs and a lot of other factors, so it certainly does come up from time to time. You know, for $4 a set, I grabbed two. You need... Now these are just the sway bars, there's no other hardware. You're going to need this. This is a set of RC10 B6.1 ball ends, part number 91820, and specifically you're going to need the small sets of ball ends to create the linkages that are going to go from the arms to the sway bars themselves. Then you need a sway bar hardware kit. I'll also put a link below with the part number. I don't have the plastic tab right now, the paper tab. You're basically getting a set of 4 of these. That's enough for both of your sway bars. It gives you a bunch of little grub screws, and then you're going to need some longer grub screws. Now, I happen to have these in my collection. These are like 15 millimeter, I think, and I'm going to end up most likely trimming these down in size, but I want to make sure that I'm getting a good linkage from this ball stud right here to the end of the sway bar, and make it so the sway bar is not going to contact either the axle or the camber link, and likewise the same thing in the rear. So by using these slightly longer ones, I can tap out the holes in the ball ends, and then I can trim this down to size based on whatever I feel I need. So the first step is getting out a hex wrench and putting a set of these little grub screws that come in the associated kit. The ones that kind of look like they're gray, they've already got some Loctite like material on them. Doesn't hurt to add a little more though. And actually these are, yeah, these are the right ones. I'm using the wrong wrench though. There we go. So yeah, I'm gonna put a little extra Loctite on them anyway. And remember, you need at least 8 of them. You need 1 for each of these, and then you need, so that's 2 for the sway bar itself, and then you need 2 more for the front of the sway bar to adjust its tension, and then you need the same number 4 in the rear as well. So now the kit will have enough grub screws of this type, the small size, for all of those locations. Now these can go all the way through, as you can see. I'm going to set them right to the end. And make sure that you set the grub screw so it's facing vertically like that, so that you can make adjustments if you need be. If you have it on the side or underneath, it may be impossible to reach it without removing it from the car first. You want to be able to make changes without moving it. I was going to go ahead and start mounting that up, but first I'm going to go ahead and prep both sway bars. And just FYI, I'm going to use a 1.4 in the front and a 1.3 in the rear. That's a pretty common combination there. The 1.4 and the 1.3 on the on this size buggy. I thought about going up in size, going a little stiffer, considering how much weight there is here in the middle, but I am hoping to get rid of that in the not too distant future. I'm hoping that WLToys will come out with a either a slipper or a center diff. I did try to get one going for us, as I believe I mentioned in a previous video. I was waiting on the parts. They came in, and you know, I've got a good eye for measuring. The distance for the two bearings was perfect. Here's the diff without assembly, and it fits smack dab in there. The problem is that the out drives are not long enough, so the axles don't quite reach them. They're like right at the edge, and that's just not going to work. And there's no way to lengthen the axles or to extend these. It is what it is, unfortunately. So I bought a ball diff that will not work for this kit. It may come in handy down the road for some other application of mine. I'll see, but right now it's just going to go in the parts box, and if nothing fails, I will make use of the shims and seals that came with it for something else down the road. And at the very least, I'll get that out of it. Now I'm going to slide this little tab to the side like that, so I'll still have the marker. I'm not going to tear it off, but I don't want it inside that plastic piece there, obviously. So let me just move these little scrub screws out of the way, and let's start doing our front sway bar. So these are, wait, that's the wrong size. These are Phillips heads, and I will of course replace these since I'm going to be since I'm taking this off at this time. I'll probably just use some aluminum hardware to keep the weight as low as possible. I also want to put hex heads on there no matter what. So if you see, we've got these two grooves here and here. That is where our sway bar is going to sit, right in there like that. And as you can see, it fits perfectly. Now, what we need is, they've already put grub screws in for us. Dynamite. You can see that there's already a pair of grub screws that are screwed in here. Yep, that's the right size. So I'm just going to back those out a teeny bit. And yeah, it's amazing that they provided all this hardware, but they did not give us the actual sway bars themselves for whatever reason. Maybe it's maybe my kit came without them. Maybe they just didn't have the parts on hand for the first run of release of these. I don't know. I don't have any contact with anyone at WLToys, so I can't really get answers to those questions. A little bit longer, but I don't think that's a... Let me see. Yeah, okay, I'll switch those. Yeah, these are going to do just fine. And this is a perfect place to use some aluminum hardware, as long as you don't damage the socket heads, the hex head. You're not going to have any problem. There's so little stress that's going to be coming through there. There's no way these are going to break. The plastic would fail long before the... So now you can see how we've got a little jiggle here. Not just left and right, that we're not worried about. It's this. So I'm going to slowly adjust these screws until they start to tighten. See, I just touched it. And back off a little bit. No jiggle there. And there you can see that moved. Back off just a teeny bit. So now the sway bar moves. It's I wouldn't even say it's snug. It can hold position, but it's very light. But it moves very freely, so that's perfect. So now I need to make my linkages, and I'm glad I have these longer grub screws because it is fairly close. I'll try to get close up and show you in just a moment. And that's all we need off the parts tree for this little process here. Just FYI, this tree of ball ends is $9.99, $10 or so. Okay, hopefully you guys received these in your kit. This is another thing that they threw in. It was kind of in the bottom of the box. It also came with 2 front steering knuckles, and they look to be just straight up replacements for what the kit, you know, already comes with. So I guess they gave us 2 spares. You know, this is not something where you would have like a caster adjustment or anything like that. The height is adjusted by some fittings that are in here. Like, it's the same setup that most cars of this type have. So that's nice that they threw those in, but these are a better size match for the arms themselves. They are not going to fit these sway bar pieces. So if you want to try to spec out the right components for these fittings, go for it. Otherwise, go with the associated kit that I recommended, and you're still going to need the that tree of parts, because you're going to need the top piece to go here, but you're going to want to take one of these well, all four of them apart, and you're going to want to use one of the fittings they provide, one of the ball studs, and you're going to want to use one of the ones from the associated kit. And I would personally recommend using a longer grub screw than they provide. I made mine a little bit longer, like 3 millimeters longer than the ones they provide, and those seem to fit better in the front. The shorter size is fine for the rear, but it just seems to work better up front. So do as you wish. But I am going to use the ones that come with the kit for the bottom link and the associated ones for the top, because those are guaranteed to fit these ball links correctly. Also, be careful when you are assembling these. The associated pieces are a little softer, and if you twist too far, you'll kind of knock the ball hole out of round. I'll try to show you. It still works, but yeah, see, once you see how it's a little bit flat at the base right here, where the stud has pushed up against the plastic a little bit. They use some really short grub screws on these. So again, for the fronts, they're fine for the rear, I think, but for the fronts, I would go bigger, longer. To a certain degree, stuff like this is a bit of trial and error. We're using parts that were never really made for each other exactly, and so getting everything to work together can be a little difficult. Just like anything else, you want things to fit as well as possible. You want things to move smoothly. So that's one of the reasons I'm redoing these and using the included ones for the arm link. There we go. Yeah, that's a little better. Definitely moves more smoothly. So I will be doing the rear as well. This is really cramped because they've got the shocks back here and the links, and I am going to disconnect the rear shock absorbers. Not completely, just I'm glad I found those. I was looking everywhere for them, and I put them in a perfectly safe place where I couldn't find them. So if you're doing this, you only need 2 slightly longer grub screws, and you get 2 grub screws that are a little bit longer in the hardware kit. And then if you're using 2 of the ones that come with the included linkages, that's all you need. So you don't need to buy any additional grub screws. All you need is the pack of these, because you need 4 of them, not 8. You need 1, 2, 3, 4 to go onto the blue ball ends. That sounded raunchy. And then you need the kit for the ball ends, and then you need the actual sway bars themselves. So not a ton of stuff, but you end up with a nice sway bar kit, and you've got I think 5 or 6 sway bars altogether to choose from. If you buy 2 kits, that gives you a lot of possible combinations. And when you figure what you're going to pay for shipping, you might as well spend the extra $4 and get a second set of sway bars. You know, you got to figure, even if you don't use them on this car, you may use them on another one later. So why not? Might as well toss this battery connector in here. Ready to go. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please click like and please subscribe to my channel.